Hey, William.
Hey, Stephanie, what's up?
I am well. I am so happy to see you because the last time we sat down, you were on your way to Denver,
Yes,
and in
exactly.
between that
Travel.
time, you have gone to Saudi Arabia
Yeah,
and Denver,
yeah,
and we're always talking about all the things that you have in your travel bag.
yeah. And we're about to go somewhere else. Oh, and I went to Mount Rainier in between
Yeah,
those two trips.
yes, you did. Yes.
So, yeah,
So I would like you to explain to everyone what's in your travel bag, your tech
yeah.
travel bag, because
How do
I
I
find that so
travel?
fascinating.
Okay. Um, let's start with the bag itself because that changes depending on what kind of travel I'm doing. The most intense one is this backpack,
Alrighty.
pretty heavy duty. Got a thing here for the water bottle or whatever. Padded on the back. Slot for the laptop. Padded. This one's kind of heavy, but it holds a lot. Like I can
Okay.
pack. Oh, and of course it says I can pack a couple. I can pack all the equipment I'm going to talk about, and I can pack a couple days of clothing in here. And of course, it's got the typical backpack sort of stuff, so pens and pencils and all that sort
Right.
of stuff, and snacks. So this is the one I would use to go on a pretty long international trip because I like the padding
Right.
because your bag's going to get bumped around a lot more when you're traveling internationally, even if you don't check it. That's one bag. So when I went to Saudi Arabia, this was the
This is the
bag.
bag we carried. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, it's heavy. It's typically when you're going to go to a hotel and put it down and all that sort of stuff. When I went to Mount Rainier, which is more of a hiking trip, but I wanted to bring all the cameras and I think I brought the tablet, but I've got this lighter bag and this one has an integrated water bottle and all that sort of stuff. It's again roomy on the inside because it's got this big cavernous opening for stuff. So again, you can pack clothing, food, again, the water bottle, padded for hiking, but this is a lot lighter than that other one. So when I go hiking, I might take this. And its little cousin is this one. So this is a backpack that's as big as that one I just showed you, but
Uh-huh.
it folds up into this little tiny bag. This is very useful. When I went to Saudi Arabia, for example, and we were doing the actual event that we were doing, we carried this one because we just stuck shoes in there and a couple of snacks, a water bottle. That's it. So
Okay.
this thing is super lightweight, folds up like this.
I love it.
So it's just, and it has a little carabiner so you can attach it to just your
Love
belt or whatever. Convenient if you're going to go out, you're doing your big thing, and then you're doing shopping. You got to bring some extra stuff back. Let me just whip this out. And it folds out to be a regular sized uh, backpack. And then lastly, a day bag if is halfway in between. I don't need the water bottle and all that sort of stuff. Is this one? It actually zips onto another bigger piece of luggage. So this is just convenient. It does not have padding on the inside. It's just a regular backpack. All right. So those are pretty much the 3 or 4 big bags that I carry. So what do I carry inside the bag?
What's in the bag?
All right. So what's in the bag? Depending on the trip, I start with the compute device. If I'm going someplace where I think I'm going to do some coding, that's pretty much the only reason I would bring this MacBook Air 13-inch. All right. So this will go in the bag. It's convenient size. I have the bigger one, the 15-inch
Mhm.
MacBook Pro. I don't take that anywhere. It's too big and heavy. This one's just light enough that it's okay. I need some compute, so I'm going to take this bad boy, right? Because I have the full keyboard and all that sort of stuff. So 13-inch MacBook Air from a couple years ago. This might go in the bag. This did not go in the bag when I went to Mount Rainier because I'm not doing any computing up here. I'm enjoying nature. I'm going to take pictures,
You take
right?
a vacation. Yeah.
And it did not go to Denver. In Denver, and I didn't take anything to Saudi Arabia either. Denver, I took this all new Apple iPad Pro. This is the latest and greatest with the M4 chip in it. And this one's nice because if I want to use it like a laptop, I can.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I've got this is just a stand that holds the tablet. And when I don't need to type, I just pull the tablet off and I can just view stuff, do correspondence. Has a good camera on it. Has a camera on the front for doing your typical web calls, right? You can see that little dot right there.
Mm-hmm.
So this one's convenient because, again, it's lightweight. It's lighter than the MacBook Air. I can bring the keyboard if I think I'm going to do any amount of typing. I'm not going to do coding on this thing, so I'm not going to bring it along. If I think I'm going to do coding, I'll bring the laptop instead.
Okay.
And this is a difference in operating systems. But this one's convenient and useful enough for pretty much anything I'm going to do that needs some sort of correspondence, viewing videos, saving, editing files. I can actually edit videos and short clips on this thing. No problem. You can run the software. All right. So that's the major compute. And then we get into the cameras. So these days, I think I'm a camera buff. So there got to be cameras, right? First and foremost, the one that always ends up in whatever bag or in my pocket, iPhone 12 Plus. And I bought this one a few years ago. Now they're up to iPhone, 15, 16. I bought this one a few years ago along with its little cousin, the iPhone 12, because this one had a better camera at the time and had some features that the other one doesn't. So I use this a lot for doing like panoramic pictures and just run of the mill. Hey, snap, snap, quick and dirty pictures. I use this one. I end up taking two phones, typically this one plus whatever my daily driver phone is, which is an iPhone 12 still. So I'll have both of these phones. And by the way, these are all stored in what's known as a dry bag. This bag, once you fold it up like that, clip it, that's waterproof. So if you drop it in the water, you're on a boat or something, you drop it in the water, it's going to float.
Wow.
Because it's trapped air inside. So it's got a nice air bubble, so it's going to float. If you're like, oh, my camera went overboard. It's in a bag. We'll just circle back and get it. So I got
need the link for that. That is nice.
Yeah, this is really good. I got these a number of years ago when I first did kayaking. This is probably 30 years ago I got these. Wow. And I've used them ever since. They're just really convenient that way. All right. So I use these, and I have a small, medium, and large. First, other than that iPhone, I've also got the Insta360 camera. And the difference between the iPhone can do regular pictures, panoramic pictures. It will not do spatial pictures, so we'll come to that later. This will do 360-degree pictures. So I also carry this.
I was going to ask you, do you have
I got a stick.
Okay.
So I got a stick, and this has the right threading on it, so I can just hoist that up, walk around with this. I don't have to swiveling around trying to take pictures. I just hoist this up, start recording, and it's going to record 360, right?
Nice.
Yeah. And the difference between the iPhone panoramics and these 360s is panoramics are nice because you can do a pretty wide sweep, almost 360 degrees around you with pretty much any camera phone these days. But it's a strip around you, as if you're standing in the middle of a big cylinder that has a picture on the wall. Right. The Insta360 takes that and turns it into a sphere. So you can look up and down and see the full picture. So if I'm out on a mountaintop like Mount Rainier and I take a picture with this and then you want to view it in your goggles or whatever, you can look around and see everything that I saw, right? Without me having to go snap, snap, snap.
Exactly.
So this one's great. It's lower resolution compared to what you could do professionally, but it's also only a few $100s. So.
And you sent me a picture of your Mount Rainier trip on the 360.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I had a couple of 360s in there, and I had a couple of panoramas, so we can show that. So yeah, that's why are you carrying two cameras that do the same? They don't do the same thing. Panoramas are different than 360-degree views.
Right.
The 360 is all around, right? So that's two cameras. What else is in them? All right, so we have this is yet another camera.
Which one is
Uh,
this?
this is from Kandao.
Mm. Oh,
And this is their consumer low-end spatial camera. If you have an iPhone 15 or above, it takes spatial videos. I don't have an iPhone 15, and I didn't want to pay $1,200 just to get spatial video. So this was a few $100s, and it's got two lenses on it, you can see. And it'll take pictures that look 3D-ish,
right.
right? It's like when I was younger, we had this Vision Master thing. You put these little slides in and you click the thing and it looks kind of 3D, just a little bit. So that's what this does. This was instead of me buying yet another iPhone. Of course, once the iPhone 12 Plus is old enough, I'll buy the iPhone 15 and maybe I won't use this. Or maybe I'll go higher end because
Right.
this creates a pretty small picture. And I'd like to have a picture that's a lot wider and bigger and more intense than what this does. So this can also mount on that stick that I've
Okay.
got this one mounted on. And in general, I don't carry a tripod. I have a nice tripod over there, but it's really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So for traveling around, you don't want to be lugging an extra 3 or 4 pounds even. So what's the big deal? It's just 3 or 4 pounds. It adds up. All right. So what else is in the bag? I also have this thing.
What's that?
This is a camera it's a phone stand.
Cool.
So it folds out like that.
Uh-huh.
And you can take the phone and it's got a magnetic thing on it. And that can sit on your desktop.
Oh, nice.
Now, this is really convenient because if you're doing a interview, webcast, podcast,
Right.
whatever, you can put this on your desk. And again, I don't have to have the tripod. I can
Right.
just put this on the desk, aim it at myself or whatever, and it'll work out. It's also
You can
convenient.
adjust it.
Yeah, you can adjust it. You can lay it down like that. You can tighten it
Right.
up so that it'll stay in position. It's also convenient because when you're on the plane, for example, or you're sitting at a table in the forest and you want to watch a video, you can just put it on there, landscape mode, and that's more convenient than trying to position it on the seat back in front of you and all that sort of stuff. Is really, and then the person leans back and your phone goes flying. So this is convenient to put on a table or the tray right in front of you so you can watch your own video. So I generally carry this thing will fit in my pocket. So you can always have it on you and just whip it out. It's also convenient as a handheld phone holder because it's got a handle,
Yeah.
right? Just fold the legs down
Like it.
and it's better than just trying to hold your phone like that, right?
Right.
You can have a bit of a handle. So it's like a selfie stick or something.
Like it.
So this comes from Peak Design, which is the same as this case and the same as my tripod. Very convenient, that one. But wait, there's more.
I know. This bag is like full of goodies.
Oh yeah, and there's one more bag. This last one is a recently added thing.
Okay.
And it's microphones.
Oh,
They come in this convenient case. We used these when we went to Denver to record the podcast. And they're really cool because that's the mic. And it comes with a little magnet.
Yes.
And you can use that magnet on your clothing to just clip it on like that. And that's all there is to it. So they're really unobtrusive. Once you clip it on, you can completely ignore that it's there. You don't even see it. And if not, you can use a lanyard which is just a rope hanging around the neck. Put it on the person that you're trying to interview. Easy peasy. I
Love it.
really like this
And it was
because
clear.
this,
The sound was crystal clear.
yeah, the sound is really great.
Really.
It's unobtrusive. It's lightweight. It's got this nice, convenient charging case. But it just ticks all the boxes. So I was happy to discover this. So that's all that covers compute. And all of this, of course, fits in a backpack because everything is in a smallish bag.
Right.
It all fits in the dry bag. And then the dry bag goes in the backpack. It all stays nice and tight, right?
So let me ask you, you also have a charger that
Yeah.
you were showing me
Yeah.
and an adapter.
Yeah.
Because I was
Yeah.
asking you how you keep all of this going.
Now, how do you charge all this stuff?
How do you charge all this stuff?
So that's his other bag, another dry bag. And again, because if it goes in water or it's raining out or even your own sweat can destroy your electronics. So it's nice to have a dry bag. Here, we'll start with the universal charger. So when I went to Saudi Arabia, I wasn't sure what kind of connector they had for their electricity, but I knew I needed something. And I needed to power phones, and maybe someone else had a phone, who knows what. So I got this thing. And it's a universal adapter, so you can, whatever kind of plug you need, it's got the common countries. There's the US. The only funky thing about this is it's so big, it will take up a whole double slot of a wall plug, but that's okay. There's usually plenty of plugs laying around. So this one's cool because it has USB-A and 3 USB-Cs.
Oh, wow.
And importantly, you can't really see it, but it says on there, PD is essentially the fast charging for like your iPhone or your Android phone or your laptop. And this is 75 watts.
Wow.
Okay. Your typical wall wart might deliver 30 watts. Mm-hmm. And it depends on the cable and the device as to whether you're going to charge fast or not. Mm-hmm. So this in and of itself is capable of charging my laptop plus a phone plus a camera all from one device.
One device.
Right? One device. And I do that because I don't want to carry 3 or 4 or 5 wall warts around. Yeah. I want to carry one. It would be even better if this also had a hefty battery in it, but then it would be big and bulky and even harder to deal with. So this one adapter, and you can do things like, no, just carry all the wall warts, and then you'll have just adapter plugs per country. Mm-hmm. And then you have to worry about whether the adapter, the wall wart can deal with 110, 220, all that sort of stuff, right? So this just deals with all of it, right? And then on the other side, it can take whatever kind of country plug.
Whichever country, yeah.
If you go to a hotel, you need to plug in a hairdryer. You would plug it in directly. But you've got a device that came from somewhere else and it does not fit the plug of wherever you are. Right. This also acts as a universal wall adapter.
I love it.
So that's that thing. And so cool. It comes in this nice little case.
Oh, another little case.
Yeah. In this case, I always keep at least one USB-C cable.
Okay.
This is not a super fast charging cable. And there's a difference. But it'll do in a pinch, and I've always got at least one. Right? So I always keep that in this case. So I know I always have at least one USB-C plug. Right? Okay. When you're out on a longish trip and you're not near a wall plug, you need a battery.
Oh, that's your battery.
Yeah. So I forgot what this one's rated at, but it'll charge my laptop. It'll charge the phone 10 times. It's pretty beefy. Yeah, those 4 lights say it's currently fully charged. So it's got the only 2 connectors on it. So it's either and you can charge from this one and it'll do a fast charge from this charger that I have.
Okay.
And then you just stick that in the backpack, plug it in to your whatever when your battery's running low and you get a charge off of that. When I'm walking around and I know it's short, I won't carry it. But if I'm going to be out for hours, I'll
Right.
throw this in the backpack so that I know I don't have to go, oh my God, I'm down to
I got,
0
yep, down
bars.
to zero. Yep.
Right? Whew. But wait, there's more.
I'm telling you, this bag is
These are
fabulous.
magical
I love it.
bags. Now, one of the things you had to deal with, of course, is wires. I've got the charger, I've got the battery thing. What about the wires for the devices? And this is why I'm glad that Apple is finally switching to USB-C for their phones,
Yeah,
because here's
because everybody
the
else is using them.
Apple specific
Hmm.
wire. So I have to carry this to plug into the phone.
Hmm.
I have another one, which is the magnetic connector thing. Just bring this one. So I bring this because this charges both of the phones. If I upgrade the phones, then I won't need to carry this anymore. I carry this to charge the Apple Watch.
Okay.
So that goes on the back of my Apple
Right.
Watch. So that's two just for Apple. I carry the Apple Watch,
Right.
which serves as also a remote trigger for my phone to tell it to start recording or stop recording. And then I carry this nice USB-C cable for everything else.
Okay.
The laptop, the tablet, the phones, all the cameras take USB-C.
See.
Thank
Right.
goodness. Yeah, and that's about it. And this one I've labeled specifically. It can deal with watts.
Okay.
Um, it's USB-C up to 240 watts.
All right.
This is a great cable.
Yeah.
And it'll do the fast charging. You have to be very
Yeah.
careful about cables when you're thinking fast charging, because if the cable is like really thin and dainty, it is not going to do the fast charging. Your phone will take 3 hours to charge, and it's because of the cable. All right. This cable, it has a chip inside the connector here that negotiates with the power supply to say, hey, I can take more. So there's actually a chip in here that does that negotiation. Those cheap cables don't do that. So you get a
I know.
default low 5 volts, 1 amp, 2 amps maybe. Whereas this say, no, kick it up to 20 volts at 1 amp or something.
And in
So
15 minutes, it's up.
15 minutes or at least 80%, you're good. So I make sure to carry at least one of these. Oh yeah, and this one's long. This is 6 feet long. All my other cables are short because I want them to be short, but it's never know. You need at least one long cable. So that's that one. That's all the cables. And then the last thing, I promise, is I actually use an old prescription container to carry the little tiny things that are either delicate or could get broken or lost easily.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And what I put in this container is this one is a USB-C to HDMI
HDMI.
connector.
Okay.
So if I get someplace, I'm doing a presentation, I need to hook up the laptop. They probably have an HDMI monitor, so I bring
Right.
this little adapter and plug it into whichever device, and away you go. In addition to that, I've got a USB-C to USB-A
Okay.
adapter because I've got this little thing, which is a USB-A connector, and it has the slots for SD cards,
Oh, for the SD
right?
cards. Yeah.
SD card, micro SD card.
Yeah.
So you get somewhere, you got a camera, you need to take some photos off and stick it in the laptop. You don't have a
Right.
wire, whatever. You need to hand it to somebody and say, here, copy this. So you need one of these so that you can quick and dirty stick this into one of your devices, right? With the
Mm-hmm.
USB-C adapter, stick that in the camera, download the images to your SD card, put it over there, put it in the laptop or whatever. And that's it. That's all I have.
It's a lot. It's a
That's it.
lot.
That's it.
We're
That's all I
already
got for
talking
you.
about the items in your bag. Now, let me ask you a quick question. Why do you have most of the products are Apple, and does all of your tech work with your Apple product?
Yeah, I was at Microsoft for 24 years, and I have plenty of Microsoft tech around me. Right now, I'm using a Microsoft PC, the Yeti microphone, a Logitech webcam, and all that sort of stuff. So it's decidedly not the Apple ecosystem. But right behind me is the Apple stuff, right? And in the room that I'm in, I also have a HomePod, a couple of giant screens with Apple TVs on them, of course, the laptop and the tablet. So I have everything. And I've got a 2 or 3 Linux boxes. So I have everything. But from it's about ecosystem. From an ecosystem standpoint, Apple has the most things tied together. So I mentioned I carry my watch. Okay, the watch talks to the phone and can trigger, hey, start recording, stop recording, add this geographic track that we went on to yourself so that I can see where this photo was taken. So they're integrated like that, and getting stuff from this to editing on the iPad or the laptop. I take a photo, it's already uploaded to my iCloud account. I just go to the laptop, I open it up, it's there. I can edit it. I don't have to go through, oh, for that you need this service and then this service and then this. Right. It's 10 different services to do the same job where it's just one vendor, one service. And then the last thing is I trust Apple. I don't trust a lot of other people. I wouldn't trust Google with all of my photos and documents and all that sort of stuff. I definitely wouldn't trust Facebook. You really shouldn't trust anybody. But of all of those companies, I believe Apple at least gives voice to data protections more than other people do. So that's why I like it.
William, thank you so much for sharing all your tech with us. Is that all, or you have?
There's just one more thing. When I'm traveling, I have this survival bag that I don't travel with. It's like a doomsday bag, but I do take out of it my
as a first
aid kit. Yeah. Wow. And this one's simple because you can't, if you're going to travel on a plane or something like that, you can't take too much through security, like a knife or anything like that. But at least, you can travel with, like, it's got a simple pair of scissors, some Band-Aids, and, antibiotic. It's just this typical stuff for bumps and bruises and scrapes and that sort of thing. And I promise. Oh, and headphones.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Noise canceling, wireless, wrap around the ear headphones in yellow.
Yes.
And that's it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us, William. Like, I'm always fascinated with all the tech that you have, and we talk about this all the time. But next time, we need to do a tour of your studio.
Let's do that because, well, let me clean it up a bit.
Okay, no problem. No problem. So we're going to see you again soon, William. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. You're welcome.